Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a wise and kind blacksmith with his young son. They owned an old house with just 2 rooms, one where they lived and another they used as a stable for their horse. This horse was magnificent, a purebred of the highest quality. Years ago, someone had gifted the blacksmith a foal, and he had raised it with the love and care of a father. He often said, "I have 2 sons, not one." As the horse grew into adulthood, its beauty became the talk of the village. People from far and wide came to admire it. One day, a wealthy man from a neighboring village, who had heard of the horse, visited the blacksmith. Enamored by the horse's grandeur, he offered a handsome price to buy it. The blacksmith politely declined, saying, "This horse is not just an animal, he is like my son. I cannot sell my own child." The rich man left in disappointment, hurling insults as he departed. Villagers tried to persuade the blacksmith to sell the horse, arguing that as a poor man, he wouldn't be able to care for such a valuable animal forever. They warned that someone might steal it. But the blacksmith always smiled, thanked them, and remained steadfast in his decision. One day, a fake sage, hired by the rich man, came to the blacksmith pretending to be a holy man. He claimed the horse belonged to an ancient and cursed lineage, warning that such horses brought misfortune to their owners. The blacksmith listened carefully and replied, "Whatever is written in my fate, only God knows. I trust in His will. If this horse is a test, I am ready to face it. But I will not sell it." Despite the sage's warnings, the blacksmith refused to part with his horse. However, the sage's words left him unsettled. Days later, the blacksmith woke up to find the stable door open and the horse missing. He and his son searched everywhere but found no trace of the horse. The villagers came and mocked him, saying, "We told you to sell it, but you were too proud to listen. Now you've lost both the horse and peace of mind." The blacksmith calmly responded, "Thank you for your concern, but how can you be sure this is misfortune? The horse is gone, that much is true. But whether this is good or bad, only time will tell." The villagers, thinking he had lost his mind, left him alone. 3 days later, the horse returned, bringing with it 5 wild horses from the forest. The entire village was amazed. Those who had mocked him came to congratulate him, saying, "We were wrong. Losing the horse wasn't bad luck, it was a blessing in disguise. Now you own 6 horses." The blacksmith replied, "The horse has returned with 5 others, that is true. But how is this necessarily good fortune?" As time went on, the blacksmith and his son worked harder to care for the horses. One day, while training a wild horse, the son fell and broke his leg. The villagers came again, saying, "You were right, this isn't good fortune. These extra horses have brought misfortune upon you. Your son is injured, and you are left to manage everything alone." The blacksmith replied patiently, "My son has a broken leg, that is true. But whether this is misfortune or not, only God knows." Frustrated with his calm attitude, the villagers left. 2 weeks later, a neighboring kingdom declared war, and the king ordered all able-bodied young men to be conscripted into the army. Soldiers came to the village and took away every young man except the blacksmith's son, who was exempt due to his injury. The villagers, now mourning their own son's departure, came to the blacksmith, saying, "You were wise, after all. Your son's injury was not misfortune but a blessing. Our sons may never return, but yours is safe at home." The blacksmith replied, "Your sorrow is genuine, and I feel for you. But let me remind you, whether something is truly a blessing or a trial, only time can reveal. We must accept God's will in all things. Months later, the war ended, and peace was restored. The king, impressed by the villagers' resilience, invited them to his court. When the villagers told the king about the blacksmith's unwavering patience, the king summoned him and said, "I have heard of your wisdom and steadfast faith. Tell me, how do you remain so calm through life's trials?" The blacksmith bowed and replied, "Your Majesty, I have learned from life that every event, whether joyous or sorrowful, is a test. True wisdom lies in neither boasting during success nor despairing during hardship. Accepting God's will is the key to true happiness." Impressed, the king appointed the blacksmith as the leader of his village and granted him land, a stable, and 6 attendants to help care for his horses. The blacksmith humbly accepted, saying, "I accept this as God's will, and I thank you for your generosity." The moral of the story is that life's events, whether good or bad, often carry hidden wisdom. We must trust the journey and embrace God's plan with patience and faith.